we need to strike a balance of trade with India.
And then there was something Ohaneze said, a faction, so to say, which I think we should look at. The number of Nigerians who are in Indian jails. We need to talk now that we have a friend.
All right, then. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation. With biting economic hardship in Nigeria, calls for immediate government policy shifts have become louder. To this end, the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has urged President Bola Tinubu to reconsider the decision of the administration to float the Naira and the recent increase in energy costs, which the union argues have increased suffering among Nigerians. The NLC noted that these economic measures have led to a surge in cost of goods and services, making it difficult for businesses to thrive. Now, the Labour Centre urged the president to prioritize policies that will alleviate the burden of workers, stressing that welfare of Nigerians should remain priority. Doctor, the Labour calling on the president to reverse the floating of the currency. First of all, do you agree with Labour in this regard?
Well, it's going to be tough for somebody who doesn't share the vision of the president not to want to go with Labour on this issue. And the reason is this. The president says, I can see a window for Nigeria to be able to overcome this challenge of the value of our currency by first taking out certain elements from those things that are hindering us from knowing the true value of our currency. He has identified some of them, and which we've always known. One of them is round tripping. People who go to CBN to take dollar out, take it to the black market, sell it, return to CBN. So many people take dollar, they don't do businesses. We read some reports of recent on the number of requests awaiting approval that the CBN turned down completely. So if you don't share that vision and see that, okay, we have only a few months or 1 year to get out of this problem, you won't but agree with Labour. But the president is continuously, and just last week said it, that the worst period is over. Because if what we want to do is to return to where we are coming from a year ago, I don't think.
But is floating a bad thing?
Floating can be, because of what I just said now, part of it. People who take money at the government rate.
Some have said managed floating. How about
that?
Instead of allowing demand and supply to...
Even now, if we had done this years back, I'm not sure we'll be where we are. Because what we have done was to use that system to empower certain people.
Just a few.
A few. Just like what we equally say about the subsidy for petroleum products. Some people did not even lift 1 liter of oil.
And yet they were
They were being paid because there's a system that allowed that to happen. And you know, I've always maintained it on this program. That system wouldn't have thrived without the civil service. It's not possible. They do all the paperwork. So they know where these things exist, they know where it doesn't. A few people among them.
You talked about vision of the president, but the floating is hurting.
Yes, I'm not saying it's not hurting. And that is why I keep saying, see, when the government wants to talk to us, somebody wrote an article about presidential spokespersons. And I believe that those who are there now, they have the capacity to correctly inform us, adequately also. You should be able to give us timelines to some of these things. We should be able to get adequate feedback on why these things are not working and what are the options you are considering. Because when people are not adequately informed, we always cry. I don't, for instance, if I tell you, in the last 2 months, I've been making moves for how I can move away from where I am because it's on band A. I'm looking for band C. That's to tell you that it's hurting me very badly. I'm serious. And I'm still on it. Because in my office, I'm on band C. When I buy 10,000 Naira, sir, it gives me about 203
units.
My band A at home, when I buy 100,000 Naira, it gives me 444 units. So it means that if I take that 100,000 Naira to my office, it will give me 2,030 units, whereas it's giving me 444 units, 1/5.
While some are praying that, Lord, let them not remember us to put on band A. I am one of those that are actually praying for that. But, talking about all of these things that Labour has said, Nigerians need cheaper energy, single-digit interest rates, Nigerians need power and infrastructure, and also things to improve businesses. But what are the factors holding the country back from achieving this?
Yeah, I will start from where I call him my president emeritus, Dotun, where I stopped. See, it's not a joking matter. The energy crisis is like a time bomb waiting to happen. Yeah. The energy crisis that we face, especially the so-called band A, band B, band whatever. It is a fraud. Now, I'll give you an example. He just spoke about his own office. Okay. I have an office. I have a side also, apart from journalism, where we pay 300,000 per month from May, when we opened that business, up until September. And by September 1, you brought a bill of 1.2 million. And this is not a joke. This is, I'm giving a classical case now. You say you have migrated everybody in that area. It's Ogunalon Drive through Lagos. That you have migrated everybody, including somebody who is operating a barber's shop.
You migrated
everybody to band A, whether they can afford it or not. And to make matters worse, for the disco, they call disco, to make matters worse of them, then they migrated everybody to band A. That's when the national grid collapsed. And they are still putting everybody in band A. From 300,000 to average a month to 1.2 million. And that's what they did for all the businesses in that area. I mean, the only alternative is for you to tell those businesses to shut down. And that is what the National Union of Shops and Distributive Employees are talking about. That is exactly what they are saying. And this is not only in Surulere, it is happening in Suleja, in Kogi, in so many other places. You can't just unilaterally migrate people from band B or band C to band A. From somebody, like he said, if you are recharging 10,000, for example, per month, that gives you 200 units. Now the same 10,000 will just give you just 40 units. Yes. That's so it's something that the president and the minister, Mr. Bayo Adelabu, must call the discos and sit down with them. You cannot continue to unilaterally migrate people from band B to band A, because now what they want to do is to just say everybody is in band A so that they can be charging 227 Naira per litre, whether they give 18 hours or even 4 hours. Okay, in the last 1 month, in that area alone, we have been taking note. There has been no time for almost 2 months now that that area got up to 12 hours in a day. And we are charging them band A. I mean, it is very fraudulent, and it's like nobody can can call them to order. It is killing businesses, and that is what the NLC, the organized private sector, is talking about. We are not talking about the 1,000 Naira per litre, which, of course, that one
is also another.
It's also another issue. It's affecting cost of transportation. Those who are in the FMCG, we call it fast-moving consumer products. They move these products through the roads. And the only option for now, except in few cases where you see Dangote, who took, he has invested almost $300 million in converting most of his trucks to CNG. Well, how many people will do that? And it will take time. So,
okay, but gentlemen, the IMF, they recently hinted that most of the policies of Mr. President is not showing positive impacts right now.
Yes.
What should the president be doing right now?
You see, now there has to be a controlled measure. Okay. It's not, we can't just be throwing all these measures at Nigerians. It's like if a child is sick or you have a sick patient, you can't be administering all drugs at the same time. You have to apply this one, see the results, see the effect, okay, then try another one. But in this case, you are increasing
energy,
transportation, fuel price. At the same time, we are floating the Naira at the same time. Those three issues ballooned cost of production. There are three factors.
Are we producing?
From 800 Naira per 800 Naira to $1 in May 20, we are today 1,700 or thereabout to $1. From energy cost of 67 Naira per kilowatt hour to 227 for most places, and also from 480 Naira per liter to 1,000 Naira per liter. So those three issues, they are the basics that is affecting inflation of food items and what have you. So the gains of the 70 Naira minimum wage is almost being wiped off. So that's what Labour is talking about, that they are giving them 70,000 with one hand and collecting it in about three places.
Let's talk solution now. Should the president be having a tough conversation with the CBN governor, his economic team, tough conversations for us to have?
That's the only way out. For instance, I don't know what the president saw in approving this band A, band B, band C. Because if you are not giving power and you are only taking money, then that is fraud.
Did the president actually approve it?
Well, it must have been discussed. The minister cannot unilaterally
make that decision.
But what information or what documentation he made available to the president or to the Federal Executive Council for this approval is suspicious. Very suspicious. In fact, for a lot of people, one of those they expected would leave the cabinet during the last reshuffle was the minister. Because nobody believes in him again.
You don't think we should be patient with him?
No, it's not about, you see, it's what we are talking about. Has it given us a timeline? And before implementing...
National grid has collapsed more than 15 times this year alone.
Before implementation, did you do the groundwork that this disco can make this provision? The increment that they are doing, does the facility enable you to track that if these people don't get 12 hours today, then they should be billed based on band C? Or the number of hours they get. Those are the things that, the only thing that we'd like to hear in Nigeria is, we have increased. More money is coming in. Yes, it's a capital-intensive project, generating power. No doubt about that. But Nigerians must be able to see, okay, this is what we are benefiting.
Now, you're talking just power alone.
Not power alone.
The currency.
The currency is there.
Inflation.
Everything.
The economy. All the indicators are...
But don't forget that all of these things affect the other. They are tied together.
Exactly.
You can't take one out. Just like what we said. Petrol. In taking out completely the subsidy, what were the considerations? We've always had in this country that when the cost of crude goes up, they mark up. When it comes down, it should come. We've always seen the increment, not the other way.
So once it goes up...
So if we are where we are now, and it's selling for 1,025 by NMPC standard, then with what we are hearing is happening in the international market, perhaps we should be selling for 700 today. Then it can go back up, just like it happens in other advanced countries. Why are we always on the same spot when we are talking about our own? And for me, these coming holidays will be tough. If we are not careful, it will be tough. I'm not saying tough in terms of people not even being able to eat, but tough in terms of people getting angry, tough in terms of more people taking to crime.
So the statement of Nigerians should be a little patient is not there.
For now.
For now.
What the government should do is to ensure that things are softened a bit. In any way it can be done. So that we don't run, because like I've said, it is not good for us to now say, okay, we have achieved this up to this point, as Mr. President has said, and then abandon it completely. But it is not about all these tokens that we are giving out. We are giving 20,000 to 25 million Nigerians. Who are those 25 million? I don't know. I've not seen anybody who has benefited from that 25, from that handout. And the handout is not even the best. Because of our own kind of system. That is why the IMF can say they are not seeing the
positive impact.
Yes.
All right then. All right, gentlemen. We need to go on the screen. When we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. It's still journalist.